Hey everyone, welcome to Nanuya channel. Today, we're tackling a topic that we've all encountered in some form or another, the red flag guy. Now, before you roll your eyes, because let's be honest, we've all had that guy we ignored the warnings for. Don't worry, you're not alone. Today, we're going to talk about what red flags are, how to spot them, and how to make sure you're not walking into a relationship that's headed straight for a dead end. So, grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's jump into it. What are red flags? Alright, let's start by defining what we mean by red flags. A red flag is essentially a warning sign, something that makes you think, maybe this isn't a good idea. But just to be clear, we're not talking about small quirks or occasional mistakes. We're talking about behaviors that are consistent and often point to deeper issues. Red flags in a guy can come in all shapes and sizes, and they can often be really subtle at first. Sometimes, we even ignore them because we think we can change him or that we're overthinking things. But, spoiler alert, you can't fix him. So, what are some of these classic red flag traits? I'm glad you asked. Let's dive into some of the big ones. The gaslighter. You know the type, the guy who makes you question your reality. If every time you bring up something that bothered you, he flips the script and makes you feel like you're the problem, then yeah, that's a massive red flag. Gaslighting is all about manipulation and control. You should never feel like you're losing your sense of self in a relationship. The commitment phobe. This guy loves to keep things casual, but not in the fun, laid-back way. We're talking about the guy who says he doesn't want labels, doesn't want to define the relationship, and always has an excuse for why he can't commit. If you're looking for a long-term relationship and he's not on the same page, then it's time to step back. The player. Oh, the charming guy who seems perfect at first. He'll say all the right things, text you all the time, and sweep you off your feet. But when you dig a little deeper, you find out he's got a lot of other girls on the go. If he's flaky, never introducing you to his friends or family, or always has some excuse about why he's busy, it's likely he's not as interested as he seems. The hothead. Maybe he's got a temper. Maybe he gets upset over small things, like you being 5 minutes late or him not getting his way. If he blows up over minor inconveniences or makes you feel afraid to speak your mind, that's a huge red flag. Healthy relationships are built on respect, and no one should feel scared in their partnership. The emotional manipulator. This one's tricky because emotional manipulators are often really good at playing the victim. He might make you feel guilty for needing space or for calling him out on his behavior. If your conversations always end with you apologizing or feeling responsible for his emotions, that's not a healthy dynamic. So why do we ignore red flags when we see them? I mean, we all have that friend who's like, "Girl, he's a walking red flag." But somehow we still think, maybe I can change him, or it's not that bad. And I get it. It's hard to let go of something that seems promising at first. But here's the thing. We often ignore red flags because we're afraid of being alone, or maybe we're just really attracted to the person. Attraction is powerful, but it's also temporary. If someone isn't treating you right, that's not something you should try to fix. And let's not forget, there's also a bit of hope that keeps us going. We think, well, maybe this time it'll be different. But truth be told, if their behavior is already showing red flags early on, it's usually not. So, what do you do when you spot a red flag guy? Here are a few tips to handle the situation. Trust your gut. Your intuition knows more than you think. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore that little voice in your head telling you to take a step back. Have boundaries. Don't be afraid to set and enforce boundaries. If he crosses them, that's a major red flag. It's okay to walk away if your values and expectations aren't aligning. Communicate if you're comfortable doing so, have an honest conversation about what you're seeing. Sometimes, a guy may not even realize he's acting a certain way. But if he gets defensive, minimizes your feelings, or refuses to change, that's your cue to walk. Know when to walk away. If the red flags keep coming, don't be afraid to cut ties. It's hard, especially if you've already invested time and energy, but remember, you deserve better. You deserve someone who values you, respects you, and is ready to meet you halfway. So, to wrap up today's episode, Remember this. Red flags aren't just small quirks or harmless mistakes. They're behaviors that tell you something deeper is off, and you shouldn't ignore them. It's okay to walk away from someone who's not treating you the way you deserve to be treated. In fact, it's the healthiest thing you can do for yourself. Trust yourself, value your worth, and always keep an eye out for those red flags. You don't have to settle. There's someone out there who's right for you. That's all for today's episode of Podcast Name. I hope this helps you spot the red flag guy before things get too complicated. If you've got your own stories or questions about red flags, send them our way. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, your worth isn't up for negotiation. Take care, and we'll catch you next time.